Having decided to discard the Arduino version, which needed a stepper motor, or actually a servo, and an Arduino board and a potentiometer and all sorts of other bits and pieces for the Nempnett Thrumpwell kitchen timer, I needed to come up with an idea, a way of creating the warning sound when time's up. So let's discard them. Now, as you've seen if you've watched several past posts, I ordered one of these nice trumpets, but they needed quite a lot of air to make a noise, and they're quite big. I also was very kindly given one of these by an old colleague, but again it needs a lot of air at quite a high pressure to make a noise, so that's no good. Also bought one of these, an Oxford bowl pawn bike pawn thing, and that had a bulb on it, but I thought I'd just try it, and I thought, is there a way of not cheating with some synthesized sound but actually creating a proper sound, a proper note or a warning sound using compressed air from a little motor or something. So I thought I'd try one of these with one of these, because these things, these blood pressure monitors, really do produce quite a lot of pressure but at quite a lower volume. There's not very much air pumped and it takes a while, but they do reach high pressure, so I did wonder about that. So here we have it. There's the little adapter that came with it. I've connected a pipe onto the trumpet, and if I blow into it, it takes quite a lot of breath, quite a lot of pressure. So I'm going to plug that onto the side, and we'll switch this on and see if it does anything at all. Let's take the blood pressure of the horn. So absolutely nothing. Didn't think it would work. Let's move on to the next idea. As some of you might be aware, I then found some vuvuzelas, which I used a long time ago for horn shape, because it's very difficult to achieve this unless you have an old instrument that you can buy second hand from eBay or something, which I have done in the past, but then you don't know what you're working with, you don't know whether you can get any, you know, for future developments, future ideas. So this one comes, I mean, it's a beautiful shaped horn, but it also comes with one of these, and if you blow into this, even at very low amounts of air, it makes a noise. So let's plug that in. That pushes into there, and these are very reasonably priced. And let's connect this up to that. As my mother used to say, it's always good to have a range of rubber tubing around the house. Luckily these three bits fit within one another. So here's one, push that onto the I don't know what you'd call it, the vibrating bit, and push that onto the output from the blood pressure monitor. Let's push that on there. This should be enough. Right, zoom out a bit. There you go. So let's try this. Yes, result. That is brilliant. That is such good news, because that means, I know this has got a little battery pump in it, an air pump. That means that with battery power, and this is ages old and I haven't changed the batteries in it for a long time, and it's still working perfectly. So this horn, this vuvuzela, will work perfectly with a little low voltage pump that doesn't take much current. It's exactly what we want. The perfect solution for the Thrumpwell Nempnett, I can't even say it now. The Nempnett Thrumpwell, that's it. Nempnett Thrumpwell kitchen timer. After much searching on eBay, I found some of these things. These are absolutely fantastic. Let's see if I can get it to focus. They all seem to be called the same thing, a micro air pump. And apparently that's what's inside the blood pressure monitor. This one's 6 volts, would be perfect. It's for 1.5 volt batteries. So finally I found a company that
actually was in the UK, so I didn't have to wait for ages, and I've got, I think it's 4 or 5 of them for about £12–15. Brilliant value. That's very exciting when they arrived. They're a lot cheaper if you buy them directly from China, but I couldn't wait. So excited to see whether I could actually drive a trumpet. So, as before, bit of rubber tubing. Let's plug that in there. There you go. Now I've got a power supply here that's set on 6 volts, so let's try it. Fantastic. That is so exciting. If I turn the voltage down, I'll turn it down from 6 volts to about 4.5 volts. That's about 3.5 volts and it's still working. That's fantastic. Perfect. And it's only drawing about 100 milliamps, which is 0.1 of an amp, 1/10 of an amp. So batteries are well able to provide that sort of current for many hours. This is perfect. So there's another big step forward with the Nempnett Thrumpwell kitchen timer. Very exciting. I'll keep you posted. As luck would have it, this wonderful little micro air pump also fits into a 28mm T. So it's 28mm copper normal plumbing fitting, 28mm copper, 28mm copper, 28mm copper, and it just pushes in perfectly. Now that's really exciting because now I can build it into the machine, not have it hidden inside, which I originally thought of, but actually have it visibly showing on the outside, displayed, just as the Victorian inventors would have done. They wouldn't have hidden away a little pump like that. They would have been very proud of the technology and they would have displayed it. And if you get some 28mm tubing, copper pipe, you can also get one of these, which is sometimes called a Munson ring, I think that's an old-fashioned name, or a pipe ring. And this just fits over perfectly. That's what it's designed for. It's so that you can have copper pipe 28mm with high temperature fluids flowing through it without worrying about melting plastic fittings. And obviously they're brass, which is fantastic. They come with base plates like this and they just look superb. I've used them lots of times before on other steampunk machines, but this is ideal. And then you can get a stop end, which again is a 28mm stop end, which just pushes over the 28mm pipe, and there's all sorts of other possibilities. You can get reducers. This is a reducer that goes from, no it's not, that's the wrong thing. I'm trying to find everything in a bag which I tidied up with. Here we are. This is a reducer. That's 15mm, which is one of the standard copper pipe sizes for plumbing. That's 28mm. That's actually 28mm diameter, so that will fit inside here. And then already you can see the potential. It's fantastic. So many. These fittings are end feed fittings, by the way, just for your reference. It means that plumbers, when they fix things onto them, they'll get a bit of 15mm pipe and they'll clean up the surfaces that are going to fix together, and then they'll heat it up and put flux on it. Well, put flux on it first, heat it up, and then flow solder into the end, and the solder will flow round the joint with capillary action and make a really good seal. The other sort which I don't favour so much are Yorkshire fittings. Yorkshire fittings have a little bead of solder. It's very clever because the solder's already, I don't know whether you can see that, but the solder, there's a ring of solder already fixed inside the fitting. So the idea is you cover everything in flux, push your pipes together, heat it up with a blowtorch, and the solder that's in there melts all round. Capillary action again makes a perfect fitting. So you've got Yorkshire fittings, you've got end feed fittings, and then finally, which do have a lot of very good uses in steampunk creations, you've got compression fittings. Compression, this is an end stop compression fitting. I've got it just to see what it looks like, and these work using an olive, not the normal sort of olives that you put in drinks and things. This is an olive, this is a brass olive. It sits in here. you have the knot going over the end, and the idea is, let's get, where's that pipe on here? Put the 28mm pipe in here, tighten it with a couple of spanners, and as you tighten it, it compresses the olive against the pipe and against the fitting, and that makes a perfect watertight seal. And they are brilliant for this sort of thing as well. And because they're made, so many of them are made, they're not that expensive. I've been talking about 28mm fittings, but again you can get them in bigger sizes, or 22mm, which is very common for central heating in houses, or 15mm, which is very, that's 15mm, most commonly used for water main pressure water. So it's all very exciting, it's all happening. I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching.